Good day everyone, I am BG Kumbong, your reporter for today. So today we're going to discuss about program learning. And what is program learning? Program learning is one of the important innovations of the 20th century in the teaching and learning process. Program learning, it can be self-instructional technique, individualized instruction, and logically sequenced or small segments. So in program learning, we have the related educators or the proponents of the program learning. We have Thorndike, which is the trial and error, the Gagny chain or the signal learning, Robert Major or the learner controlled instruction, the Skinner or operant conditioning, Sidney L. Pressey or the teaching machines, Norman A. Crowder or the mathematics, T.F. Gilbert, we have intrinsic, Lawrence Tolero or CIA computer, and Edgar Dale cone of experience. So the definitions of a program learning. Program learning is a systematic step-by-step instructional programs. It is a device which presents an exercise or a problem to a student, inducing him to respond and revealing to him whether or not his response is correct. Another one, it is a method of designing a reproducible sequence of instructional events to produce a measurable and consistent effect of the behavior of each and every acceptable students. We have another one, educational programming is the scheduling and control of student behavior in the learning process. And the last one, it is a planned sequence of experience leading to proficiency in terms of stimulus-response relationships. So we have the characteristics of program learning. Number one, individualized instruction. Number two, logically sequenced or small steps called frames. The page show consideration to the initial of entering behavior of the learner. The provision for feedback. Interaction between the learner and the learning material is important. Self-pacing to the learner. And the last one is continuous evaluation. So we have also the principles of program learning. Number one is small steps. Number two, active participation and responding. Number four is self-pacing. Number three is reinforcement. Number five is self-evaluation. And the last one is immediate feedback. Program instructional materials. So we have teaching machines, program textbooks, and scrambled books. So we have also the types of programming. We have the linear or extrinsic, and we have the last one is the branching or intrinsic. So what are the differences of the two types of programming? So we have to discuss first the linear, which is the proponent is B.F. Skinner. So in the linear programming, we have the straight line single track, and every learner follow the same path. So as you can see the frame, we have the 1, 2, 3, and 4. So as you can see the straight line single track and the learner follow the same path. So we have the branching. So in this branching, we have Norman A. Crowder. So we have the bigger frames, the content frame, and the remedial frame. So let's start with the content frame. So in content frame, repeating students' response, positive confirmation, the new information, the question, the alternative answers direction to go to relevant page. So that is in the content frame. So we have to discuss the remedial frame. So what is in the remedial frame? A. Repeating the student's response. B. Negative confirmation. C. Reason as to why he is wrong. D. Further explanations. And E. Direction as to where the learner should go next. So that is the differences between the remedial and the content frame. So if we're going to discuss about the forward branching, so whether it is right or wrong learner. So we have the new page. So number 1, then branching doon sa remedial, parallel doon sa question, and doon sa 2, which is the chain 2. That is forward branching. So we have also the backward branching. So in backward branching, repeating the missed frames. So in backward branching, so we're going to repeat all the missing frames. So linear branching or the mathematics. So structure of a program. So we have pretest, entering behavior, program or broken down into elements, post-test, and terminal behavior. So comparison of the program instruction. So we have the small, the larger, and the bigger. So let's start with the small. In the small program instruction, constructed the linear book and low cost. So larger, we have multiple choice, scrambled, and expensive. So in the bigger, written or performance, and Instra package, and we have the high cost. So primes and prompts of the program instruction for helping the learner make the correct response, eliminate error. He is assisted in the form of primes and prompts in the introductory frame. So priming is introduced in a frame through a process of copying the response given in the stimulus. So number 1, all elements are made up of small particles of matter called atoms. The smallest particle of copper is called. So prompt is a hint or cue is provided to help the learner to choose the correct response. The prompt can be classified into 2 categories. So we have the formal and the thematic. So informal provides an indication of form of response. So in the thematic depends on the general properties of the prompting stimulus. So this time we're going to discuss the programming, the linear programming in the branch. So in the characteristics of programming, so we have the step size, the response type, the reinforcement, the subject matter, the paper program, the cost, control of response, level of learner, mode of response, and the procedure. So in the linear programming, we have the small, constructed, correctness of response, and the branch is large, multiple choice, and ultimate corrections. So that is for my topic, program learning. Thank you for listening.